old school type of guys where you do this because this is what you do. It's a respect thing. This is not tradition, but this is how it is. This is how it always was, and this is how it always will be. You respect the court. You don't wear your hat. You don't do this. So, and just an aside, this is totally off topic, and I had mentioned New Hampshire, and I had mentioned how you have certain people, and I have a lot of people in New Hampshire that I really like, so this is nothing against them. I have respect for all of you and for moving your lives. The people that just got up and moved their lives to New Hampshire because they wanted to move somewhere where they thought there would be true freedom and liberty. And I'm not saying when I say thought that now they think that it's not, but it's not some fucking utopia where, you know, everything is great. And I could name a whole bunch of laws that are where they're way behind other states. Now, it is up there as one of the freest states. I will still argue, not because I live here, but of course I have a bias, but I would say that Nevada is, you know, and this is all levels of freedom. Nowhere, it's not free anywhere. Nevada is right up there with New Hampshire. And of course, legalized gambling and legalized prostitution are two things, at least legalized prostitution outside of Clark County, legalized gambling, the whole state. But you can't get away from that. You can't deny that those are aspects of freedom that nobody else in the country has. Nobody. Now, I know on Indian reservations there's casinos, but that's all I'm aware of. I'm sorry, Atlantic City does have casinos. They don't have legalized sports books. But so they do in Atlantic City as well. But that's just one little tiny area. Besides that, it's Indian reservations. Like I know Connecticut has their Indian reservation where I've been to the casino there, Foxwoods, and there's another one, Mohegan Sun. And I don't know if they built any other ones over there. But you can't ignore the fact that it has those. Also, when it comes to gun laws, especially now that you used to have to register your handgun if you lived in Clark County, but now you don't even have to do that. So as far as gun laws go, you can open carry. You can keep your gun loaded in your car. In most places, there are some city ordinances, which I don't get how they fucking get away with that, but whatever. But you can have it totally loaded, the bullet in a chamber, all of that shit. You can. So the only thing that Nevada has regarding guns that they've added that isn't just going by federal, because going by federal would mean your state didn't add any laws, is you do have to get, it's a shall issue state, so it will issue a permit to carry concealed as long as you're not a felon, pretty much. But in Arizona, you don't even have to get that. You can just carry concealed. You don't have to get a permit. And I don't believe you should have to get a permit. I think it's fucking ridiculous. I don't think there should be any gun restrictions. But other than that, you can have anything. there's no restrictions in Nevada that don't come from the federal government besides what I just said. Now, what I understand in New Hampshire, and this is stupid, you can open carry, but when you put it in your car, you have to unload it. So that's just another thing that, here in Nevada, you probably have just as many guns as you do in, well, you probably have more because there's more people, but it's huge out here. There's gun stores everywhere. I'm part of a shooting range. Actually, my membership expires in a couple months. I got to make sure I renew that. It's $200 a year to shoot outside, and I should go because I haven't been in a while. And so there's that. Marijuana is probably the same because they're pushing for, it was actually on the ballot like 10 years ago to legalize marijuana. It was a ballot initiative, and it got defeated by 49 to 51 or something like that, something really close. But they do have the medical marijuana. And what's fucked up is you can't own a gun. So there's some things, we're definitely going backwards in Clark County. There's no doubt that, well, I guess we did move forward with you don't have to register your handguns anymore. But Clark County is the county that Las Vegas is in, and it is the least freest county in Nevada, in my opinion, as far as I know. Washoe County is the other big county where Reno is, and I believe it's freer over there, but I don't know for sure. But I know a lot of the things that the Clark County Commission, which is the federal government, is pretty much trying to control them, and you have all this federal money that's being brought in, and you also have the police issue. But in a major city, I don't think there's a major city that doesn't have it. So in New Hampshire, you don't have a major city like you do in Nevada. So I'm not trying to put down New Hampshire. I think that they've done a lot of good things over there and a lot of positive things, and I support what they're doing. I think it's a great idea. I think it would be better to have everybody in one town, because then you can really make a difference, because you can, for the most part, I think you'd be able to at least control the town as far as any ridiculous ordinances and things like that. So I think it would be a better idea to get everybody in one town. But I do respect what they're doing. I wouldn't become a member of the Free State Project, but if New Hampshire was not in New England and right near Massachusetts and wasn't the state it was, if it was like Arizona or even some of the other western states, then I would definitely consider going there. At this point, with the exception of the police and the courts, but I don't know that it's much different in New Hampshire neither. I guess it depends whether you're in a small, if I was in Pahrump, Nevada, I think things would be a lot different than being in Las Vegas. But my only point is that you have certain people that sit there and kind of, that are arrogant and sit there and talk about how great New Hampshire is and everything else sucks. And, well, where you live sucks, but New Hampshire's great. And one of the reasons I moved to Nevada was because of the freedom. Not that, again, it's free, but the level of freedom, especially compared to Massachusetts, of course. But I had always wanted to move to LA to be in, the film industry. So this is as close as I wanted to be to LA. So when I moved out here, it was, well, if I have a script or something like that, LA's a 4-hour drive, but there's no way I'm living in California with the laws over there. And this was back, I had moved here in 2001. So this was a while ago as well. But let me get back to our main topic. But again, I do have a lot of, there are a lot of people I know in New Hampshire, whether I met them personally or that I just know them through talking online, and I like a lot of people there and have a lot of respect for them. And I think what they're doing is great, and the concept is a good idea. It just bothers me when certain people will just come out like, if you don't live in New Hampshire, then, you might as well just, kill yourself or something. So anyway, when it comes to parents and them, most parents grew up the same way. And I was talking about myself before I kind of went off on that little thing, but that I'm the type of person where, I would say I am a true rebel, which I guess could have a double meaning there, being a fan of UNLV. But I never liked the authority. I never just followed anybody. I was always a leader. Unfortunately, a lot of times I wasn't leading anybody. Because no one would follow me, but I was a leader of myself, and that was fine. And, so I'm a lot different. And if I have kids, I would be totally different with them than my parents were in a lot of ways. But in some ways, I guess, if I had to define my father in a political party, I would say he was probably a libertarian, more of a, what would you call it? Like big L libertarian, or like a party libertarian, like that kind of level. But because he never said he was a Democrat or Republican, if he was. So, and all of the things that I talk to my mother about and tell her, she understands and she's open to a lot of those things, at least so she says. But what happens is, most parents are brought up the same way, and then they don't get in the way of, some do, because some of them see a lot of this stuff as ridiculous, like their kids getting arrested, and they'll stand up for their kids. But as far as the discipline that they get from the school and the discipline that they get from their parents, I mean, most parents treat their kids like they own them. They believe it's okay when they're a teenager to tell them what they can do and when they have to be home and all of these things. And there is a certain ownership that is essentially in the